The following hedge fund video has been brought to you by the HFG. The hedge fund group provides premium service, along with online training and certification for hedge funds, called the Certified Hedge Fund Professional, also known as the CHP designation.
Hello, this is Richard Wilson, and today we're going to talk about educational marketing strategies and how you can use that to grow capital within your hedge fund. This is one of the most effective ways to growing capital, I believe. Really leverages your time, positions you as an authority, and I believe that if you can be 4 times more educational and transparent than your competition, that you'll raise much more capital than them. There was a study that came out last year that showed that over 78% of institutional investors will not invest in something unless they understand what that investment is. And I haven't seen statistics on high net worth professionals or the wealth management sector, but I would guess that at least 80% would want to know exactly what was being invested in or how the investment type worked. So I think that's really important to remember while you're creating your marketing materials, and it's a good reason to be very educational in your marketing. While some managers purposely position their fund to appear black box and overly sophisticated and top secret, I think it's an advantage to be the opposite, be transparent, show your investment process, show what goes into it, what are the inputs, what is your core competitive advantage. And it's funny, and sometimes some marketing materials are so detailed and their investment process is so detailed that there's no 10,000 foot view, and it's very easy to understand. It's so convoluted because it's chopped up into so many pieces and there's so many trading examples that it's hard to tell what's going on. So it's important that if you do that, you also come back to the 10,000 foot level and provide an overview which is easy to understand, and they can understand at least the core components of your investment process. You should be able to hand your presentation to anybody with a college education in business, and they should understand the investment process and be able to understand what you're investing in. I have a list of actually 4 ways you can market your hedge fund in a more educational way. And these are things that you could, if you have a pen and paper, you can take notes on and write and start using today while raising capital for your fund. First is within your PowerPoint presentation. First tip is to dedicate 20% of your presentation to educational content. Asterisk all industry terms and note that the definitions are provided in the back of the presentation. Explain your investment process so anyone could understand it, at least at a high level. And start with your team, high-level investment process, and how that all comes together before digging into trading examples or risk management tools. Lots of times educational material is often best being put at the front of the presentation or the very end of it. Second tip for becoming more educational in your marketing is to have a folder of marketing materials that you deliver when you go to visit a client face-to-face, or that you can stick in the mail and have mailed to a client. Basically, this would include a one-pager PowerPoint presentation, a recent quarterly newsletter written by the portfolio manager, and then some articles written by your team, or white papers written by your team, or a speech transcript given by your team, a speech given by someone on your team, or if you have to, use somebody else's white paper or articles, which are very helpful and educational. But it's best if your team has written these helpful articles, because then it also positions your firm while you're also giving the investor some value there in those articles. I think that lots of people forget that almost everyone is moving up the learning curve in some area. Nobody knows everything. And so you can provide something on a niche subject such as governance best practices, or the evolution of transparency in the hedge fund industry, or different things about financial controls or institutionalization or due diligence, and you can provide value to the investor within these folders. Maybe not every investor, but most common things that your investor may want to learn. There might be some commonly asked questions about the industry, or there might be some new practices you're seeing used that your company or your fund already uses within your operations. You could include details in those best practices here to educate them, and then they'll have that knowledge and compare you against other managers and see that you have those in place and they do not. That can be beneficial. The third tip is to practice speaking and writing. Obviously I talk about this a lot in authority positioning and branding. Speak at conferences where your investors go to, not your competitors, and write at least 1 article every week of what you're learning through newsletters and books you're reading, so that you're synthesizing your knowledge and you're actually learning yourself while you're teaching others. The last and fourth tip is to go after wealth management and financial planners. I see this area as probably the biggest opportunity in educational marketing. Financial planners and wealth management professionals have little knowledge about hedge funds, very little compared to institutional investors. And if you're marketing to this channel, there's a huge opportunity to provide them with white papers, articles, step-by-step processes, best practices, evolution of hedge fund strategies and fees, explanations of just common points and common terms in the hedge fund industry. There could be different levels of sophistication of educational materials that you include in the folder. Maybe the front white paper or page is a middle-of-the-road educational material. The one behind that is a very simple one, and the one behind that is a very sophisticated white paper or article. And the great thing about educating the wealth management and financial planner sector is that, and this happened when I raised capital, if you went over one high net worth wealth manager and he has 30 high net worth clients out of his 100 total clients, that means that that one wealth manager might put your materials in front of 10 different high net worth clients for you. He's really an extended sales professional from your team marketing your fund for you to his clients. And that's a great place to be in, and it can be a huge advantage to have because you can leverage a team of 1 or 2 marketers and have 200 or 300 extended salespeople out there marketing for you if you win them over and keep up the relationship. So I think it's a huge opportunity. Providing those educational materials can be something that truly sets you apart and gets you approved to be on certain platforms or gets you an investment because you were there and grew that relationship through that educational material. So I hope that these 4 tips were helpful. My 4 top tips for educational marketing are related to improving the educational components of your PowerPoint, creating a folder of marketing materials and educational content, speaking and writing as much as possible, and 4th, focusing on educating the wealth management and financial planner sectors. So thanks for your time again, and we'll see you again soon.